By the late 2000s, hardware was getting incredibly cheap. Multi-core processors were standard, and cloud computing was exploding. But the software written to run on those servers was hitting a hard ceiling. Developers faced a strict trade-off. They could write back-end systems in compiled languages like C++ or Java. The resulting code executed at lightning speed, but writing it was highly verbose, and compiling massive codebases could take hours. On the other side were dynamic, interpreted languages like Python and Ruby. They were easy to read and write, but they executed slowly, and when tasked with handling massive amounts of simultaneous network requests, they bottlenecked. In 2009, engineers at Google were tasked with building infrastructure at a scale the internet hadn't seen before. Frustrated by this exact trade-off, they designed a new language from scratch, Go. Go was built as an engineered compromise. It compiles directly to machine code, achieving execution speeds similar to C++, but it's written with a clean, concise syntax that feels almost like writing Python. Python's flexibility is its biggest strength, but in large systems, that lack of strict structure can become a liability. Because the language doesn't force you to define exactly what your data looks like from the start, unsanitized user input can slip through the cracks and trigger vulnerabilities like directory traversal. Because Python relies on a massive, sprawling ecosystem of third-party modules, applications frequently break down or open security holes simply due to outdated dependencies. Go counters these exact issues through its architecture. It relies on strict static typing and compiles into a single, self-contained binary. This lean design reduces the reliance on heavy external dependency trees. A smaller dependency footprint results in a smaller attack surface. For massive engineering teams, Go's strict structure and simplified dependency management create code that is easier to secure and maintain. Beyond security, heavyweight languages like Java and C++ traditionally handle multiple concurrent tasks using operating system threads. Every OS thread requires a large chunk of memory just to exist. When the CPU switches between these threads to multitask, it loses thousands of instructions to context switching. Scale this up to thousands of network requests, and the CPU spends more time switching tasks than actually executing them. Go solves this with the GOR routine. A GOR routine is an application-level thread multiplexed onto a standard OS thread. They cost a fraction of the memory, and they context switch in roughly 200 nanoseconds. To prevent these thousands of GOR routines from tripping over each other, Go introduces channels. The rule is, do not communicate by sharing memory. Instead, share memory by communicating. Data packets are passed securely through these channel pipes, entirely bypassing the need to fight over a locked memory space. This built-in concurrency model prevents data races by design. It makes Go highly efficient at handling thousands of simultaneous connections, purpose-building it for high-traffic, asynchronous network services. Today, engineering teams often debate whether to use Go or Rust. The reality is they aren't competing for the same job. Go is the default. It scales horizontally across servers, allows teams to ship code fast, and excels as the connective tissue for APIs and service-to-service communication. Rust comes into play when a specific system component hits a performance wall. If a workload is incredibly CPU-heavy or highly sensitive to the microsecond pauses caused by Go's garbage collector, Rust is the tool you bring in. In production, you'll see a Go service managing a massive consumer queue, handling retries, and acting as the traffic cop. It then funnels the heavy, memory-intensive data scoring to a dedicated Rust binary. This hybrid approach isn't a universal solution, but it illustrates a key principle in system design, recognizing when a general-purpose orchestrator like Go has reached its limit and knowing exactly where to swap in a precision tool like Rust. While individual developers focus on the syntax, the industry as a whole has utilized Go's fast compilation and low-resource threads to change how we deploy software in the cloud. Because Go compiles to a single static binary with a tiny memory footprint, it is the ideal material for building microservices. It is the language that powers foundational cloud infrastructure tools like Docker and Kubernetes. That adoption scale is massive. Kubernetes alone is used by nearly a third of all backend developers worldwide, about 5.6 million people relying on infrastructure written in Go. In enterprise software engineering, raw benchmark speeds are rarely the most important metric. A language has to prioritize developer productivity, readable code, and predictable maintainability at scale. Go is a pragmatic compromise. It sacrifices extreme low-level control to keep engineers focused on solving architectural problems rather than fighting their tools. That specific set of trade-offs is exactly why it has become the default language of the modern cloud era.